Hi, thanks for looking in. In this film, we're going to go through some detail. The exercise that I do with some of you in some of the classes, part in the Wild Horses Way. This is a fixed step version of a movement that comes in some of the Tai Chi forms that we practice. Some very interesting qualities about it. It's quite a challenging movement in some ways, quite complex from the outside. But like all Tai Chi movements, when we look at the feet, when we look at what's happening in the center, it's really a lot simpler than we think. And so we're going to break it down and build it up from the feet to give you a chance to work with it a little bit. Don't worry about the flow. As always, the flow will come in good time. Try and think about the detail. This is best done in a slightly wider than normal stance, the stance that we sometimes refer to as horse riding stance. Exactly how wide is up to you. Don't get too fanatical about it. You want to feel comfortable, to be able to sustain it. You of course want to drop your weight down, to be careful of your knees, and you want to be able to move your weight from foot to about 60% in each foot, no more than that. So play around with the width of the step, but do have it wider than hip width, because otherwise you won't have enough time and space to judge the sideways movements. So first of all, the movement of the weight. I suggest you mirror my movement. So I've got my weight in my left leg. You should have your weight in your right leg. And in the first instance, just let your weight go across into your right foot. And then as you arrive in the right leg, turn a little bit so that you're facing in the same direction as your toes. Your toes are turned out, by the way. And then move your weight into your left and turn. The transfer of the weight and the turn are really part of the same movement. But to begin with, just separate them out so you can feel a definite weight shift and a definite turn in your hips. Be careful you don't twist your knees in when you do that, so don't turn too far. So this gives us a basic 4 count that we use for the rest of the movement. 1, I move my weight across and turn. 2, I move my weight across and turn. And then for the second 2 stages, 3, I move my weight across, and 4, I make the turn a separate movement. We'll see why when we come to the hands. And then it would go in the other direction, 1, 2, and then straight back into the your left foot, 3, and then turn 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first weight shift and turn on 1 happened more or less at the same time. The final weight shift, actually we separate out the shift of the weight, the transfer of the weight, and the turn of the body. Now we're going to do the same thing, but with the hands in front of us. Don't move your hands, just hold your hands there and get a feeling for how they're moved by your body. So once again, into the horse riding stance. Don't have your feet turned out too far, just feel comfortable with this. Starting this leg, this will be your right leg. 1, you move your weight across. You imagine that you're pushing into something, and then you turn. And then 2, you move your weight across, and you turn back to the front at this point. Don't turn all the way there. 3, once again, you push in, so you're moving as though you're pushing against something with your shoulder. And 4, turn. So now, 1, move your weight, and as you arrive in the leg, turn. So you should be looking at this angle. 2, move your weight back into your left leg, and just let your body turn a little bit to the front. 3, move across, and 4, turn. 1, move, and just let the turn begin, maybe halfway across. 2, same idea, move and let the turn begin a little bit across. 3, don't turn at all as you move the weight across, but then turn on 4. And this feels almost like you're winding up a spring. And so now as we go into 1 in the other direction, the spring releases and the body turns. 2, facing the front. 3, coming back. And 4, winding up the spring. Just be careful you don't twist your back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. One more time without the arms moving. Particularly 1, transfer and turn. 2, transfer and just turn back to the front a little bit. That should just come naturally. 3, move across, and 4. And just let your right hand rest. And this time, 1, you move in. Imagine you're pushing against the door. You just create a little bit of space so that as you turn, you can feed your hand out through the gap. Your elbow should be above your knee, the fingers above your toes, pointing in the same direction your toes. So not right out there, but a nice compact movement. That's 1. 2, move your weight across and turn your hand palm down. Your hand is about level with your chest. 3, move into your left leg, and 4, you turn. Now bring your right hand in. You've loaded the body, so 1, you move, hand remains palm up, you turn, just feeding the hand through the gap you've created. And the hand comes up just underneath the level of your shoulders. 2, you come back, and as you turn to the front, that draws your hand across, and you turn it palm down. 3, you move across, and 4, you turn. Let the right hand drop down, the left hand come into the movement. 1, it's quite a strong feeling movement, and then 2, and round about just below shoulder height. 3, you're just drawing the arm back, turning the hand palm in, move across, and 4. So just do that a few more times. Now with your right hand moving across. Notice how it begins to flow a little bit better. And the left hand. One more with the right hand on its own. And this time, on 4, as you turn, bring the left back. Now, at this point, you should feel as though you're holding the ball. We do the same thing again. You push in, so 1, push out, and the top hand, your right hand, pushes down until it's in front of the hip, directly below it. And this is almost like you're stretching out an elastic band. 2, you come back, and once again you're holding the ball. 3, you move across. 4, you turn. So 1, the bottom hand swings out as before, but the top hand just presses straight down. Very common error here is to just move this hand somewhere else, but it's a very simple movement, straight down. Coming back, 1, 2, hold the ball, 3, and 4. So like you're pulling something out. elastic band out. And just relax with the movement. If you get confused, just bring your attention back to the pattern in your feet, the weight moving, center turning. Let your arms follow. The biggest problem we have with movements like this is that we move the arms too much, frankly. So if you look at each movement in the arms, it's actually very simple. So take your time. This is just swinging out as we did before, the top hand straight down, very, very simple. Come back. Do nothing with your hands until you reach here and you can hold the ball. Don't try and turn the balls, not necessary. Come across, still holding the ball, that's all you're doing. And turn. So for most of the time, the hands really don't do that much. And when we begin to appreciate that, we start to get that lovely flow in the movement. Remember the name, this is parting the wild horse's mane. This image of the horse in full gallop, very graceful, mane flowing. That's a sort of quality to the movement. So remind you again of the numbering. 1. That's the most movement your hands will make. Keep the hands in position and move your body. 2. At the end of 2, turn your hands in to hold the ball. Keep hold of the ball in the same position. 3, move across, and 4, turn. So on 3 and 4, your hands don't do anything other than hold the ball. 1, here they separate. 2, movement of your body brings them back together and they hold the ball again. 3 and 4. One more round on each side, nice and smoothly. The shoulders relaxed as always. Let the body, the movement of your weight do the work. So last time. And parting the wild horse's mane. Thank you very much for watching.